Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and welcome to the channel. Subscribe, like, and all the cool YouTube stuff. But, guys, firstly, I do want to thank my Patreon donators and those who actually donate via the stream link down below. Thanks, guys, you're cool. And those who leave comments. I read every comment, and I have a lot of fun with you dudes. But anyways, guys, keeping that hype alive, I'm actually making this video as soon as I have gotten the news, as soon as I've seen all the trailers. I'm not even waiting for the stream to end there of, what is it, Exile Con? No, I don't even care. I just got to talk about this. Path of Exile 2.0. We're going to elaborate more specifically on that later, but just know it's not a second game. This is not actually a sequel. This is actually more of like a parallel expansion thing, kind of similar to how Overwatch 2 is doing it, where it's like, actually, this is like, it's not really a second game. It's more like an expansion that's like kind of separate, but in a way it's the same, whatever. So we'll get into that, but basically it's just a new campaign. So there's going to be 2 campaigns instead of just the one. That's cool. But we also have some other announcements, as in we have a new type of endgame that we can do, and then also we have mobile Path of Exile. So yeah, do you guys have cell phones? Do you guys have everyone has cell phones, right? But yeah, so let's begin with that one, because that one's the most lighthearted. Path of Exile Mobile, it seems to be kind of a remake of Path of Exile, so that or almost a slight subtle demake, but not really. Like, from the gameplay, which you're watching right now, dude, it looks just like Path of Exile. Some slight changes, maybe some slight balancing changes, but it looks pretty core to Path of Exile. I'm super excited for that. I'm somebody who has always said that Path of Exile would work on mobile devices. A lot of people would be like, no, you can't. It's too crazy and advanced. No, with some changes, it'll totally work. Path of Exile is not that mechanically intensive of a game. And actually, the action RPGs work fantastically on mobile devices anyways. So yeah, Path of Exile Mobile, I'm excited for it. It looks way better than I thought it would. Debatable how well that's going to actually run on most phones. But then again, God, dude, most phones today are really powerful. So yeah, guys, if you haven't upgraded in a while, it might be time to upgrade for Path of Exile Mobile. But other than that, we just got that Path of Exile 2.0 announcement, and I'm going to kind of wrap the 2.0 announcement alongside with just talking about the new endgame. Now, I actually played Path of Exile back when it was like vanilla. Okay, so you had like the first like 3 acts or something. It was really small. Like, the game was not obviously this huge thing that it is now with all these crazy leagues and like all the expanded stuff. And I played the original game, and I played like the very first time they ever did like a true expansion. I actually did that content as well, and then there, like, I kind of stopped. I stuttered on my coverage of Path of Exile. I did like the Battle Royale, which was very silly and very not well received on my channel. Sorry, guys, for that. I guess I suck at games or something. Sorry I wasn't MLG legit at a, April Fool's Day joke. And then, I played it on stream a little bit, and I had a good bit of fun and a good bit of viewers as well, so I probably should have maintained coverage of that. But basically, I played back in the vanilla, and then I went and played other games, because that's what we do here. We play lots of different games, even if they are games as a service, and we try to talk about expansions and stuff, but for the most part, it is hard to keep coverage, especially a game that I know would steal my soul. That's just one of these kind of games. Games like Black Desert Online and Warframe. In fact, I put all of these games in my top 10 best grinding game list. That's a very sincere and legitimate, critical article, if you guys want to go watch that video. But no, yeah, this game is like such a bombastic grind fest, and they're now today with all the acts. How many acts are there? A lot. Okay, we double digits now, boys. There's a lot of the different acts, and then the new end game doing the maps. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot. Now, if you guys actually are completely uncomfortable with Path of Exile, I would go against the tide and say that it is actually a very fun game to play blind. You might, hit like a wall or a cliff. You might get stuck somewhere, but after you watch some videos and kind of engross yourself in the community and you see all the different cool builds that people do and the way that they play the game, I think that's really the best of both worlds. You get the discovery, that sort of self-RPG sort of feeling, where you're not just looking at builds, but then you also, you should actually look at the different builds. You should look at what the world is doing, because this game has infinite possibilities. You can take inspiration from some of their builds and put it into your own and stuff like that. It's really quite insane. anyways, so yeah, new end game there, which just looks, you know, to me, I can't really say too much about it, which is a tragedy. I will actually, when it comes to 2020, or at least whenever they do the big jump to the 2.0, when they do introduce that new campaign, I will actually be doing a new Let's Play. I will play through it. I'll stream it over at twitch.tv/Skylent, and I will be, you know, pushing that. I'll do that, and I'll do a full review. Is Path of Exile worth playing 2020? It's gonna be great. It's gonna be super cool. But yeah, anyways, so the previews for this look really good. It looks like more of Path of Exile. So that's all I can say. Any other details that somebody more experienced can glean, please let me know in the comments below. But now, really heavily talking about 2.0. This is where I can kind of begin to assume some things and kind of talk about the gameplay loop a little bit. So why are they doing a second parallel campaign? Why is that even a thing? Okay, so basically, Path of Exile, I kind of mentioned it before, a little bit teased that Path of Exile is a grinding game. Maybe more so than most games. Like Warframe is a grinding game. It's about, you know, getting new weapons and you play with new frames. You know, it's kind of like that. But overall, your count progression goes up and up and up, and you can always switch between the different characters. But this game, Path of Exile, is almost like a very, very, very long-winded kind of rogue light experience. No, it's not going to reset when you die every time. It's not a rogue game. But what I'm saying is, when you really live Path of Exile, the way it's really meant to be played is for you to run through the campaign, and then you get to, I think you have to run through the campaign a second time, so you're going to kind of replay it, and it's kind of a slog. It takes a little bit to get started, to wind up, and then you start doing the end game content. So having two different campaigns that you can run through allows for just to kind of change things up. As well, it's a really good way to get people back into the game, because it's like, oh, we're expanding the new player experience. As well, I'm sure they're going to have a host of new changes that do make the new player experience a little bit more even. Like I said earlier, you can hit a cliff, you can hit a wall, and the customization it's bonkers. Until you see it yourself and try it yourself, you don't know. Okay, you don't know. No matter what anybody says, you'll never know. It's insane. And looking at certain gameplay footage, like maybe what you're watching right now, it doesn't look that insane of a game. It's like, oh, this is, this is kind of like Diablo, but really Path of Exile gets to a point where it's calamity. It's apocalyptic. It's a really, really crazy, very cartoon game, with like how many projectiles are on the screen. It's something. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, hopefully they do actually kind of really push for new players. Not that they need it. It's always good. I want more people to experience this game, and I want you guys to actually experience it with me. But Path of Exile is an incredibly popular game. Don't get me wrong. Whenever I do my my seasonal, what's the most popular games on Steam list, Path of Exile is up there. It's like always been up there. And it's pretty funny because it's you would think it would be a more niche game because it's a spiritual successor to Diablo 2, but despite its darkness, despite its heavy emphasis on RPG mechanics, you know what? Actually, it's super duper popular, which is really cool. Games like Path of Exile, Warframe, and Black Desert Online, it seems like people really like grinding. People really like just smashing hordes of zombies and monsters and skeletons and things. Are skeletons zombies? That doesn't count, right? That's not the exact same. Okay, anyways. So with 2.0, I'm really excited. And I'm really glad that it's not just 2.0. It's an all-encompassing, all-around expansion, and it's an all-around like IP booster when it comes to they're doing the mobile version of Path of Exile. That's huge. Just getting people a taste of the world is a big freaking deal. And then we also get the end game expand. They're always going to expand the end game. It's like this game is just ever going to grow, be bigger, better. Just like Warframe. Though I would say there is a difference though. Actually, with Warframe, they expand the game in radically random ways. Generally, like they'll do space combat and then spaceships and then open world content and then everything is so erratic. But Path of Exile has been very, very strict. And while they might have some gimmicks here and there, for the most part, they're pretty hyper-focused on what Path of Exile really is. That the idea, the concept of that, okay, we really like Diablo 2, we're going to take those ideas, layer onto it, make our own formula, sure, make our own game, but from that initial viewpoint, we really want to stick to it. We really want to do just that. And they do. Like, so, you know, in a way, we can look at the trailers and I can... if I was a pessimistic person, I guess I could say, like, it's more of the same. But the thing is that's actually kind of an optimistic statement. More of the same of greatness is great. So that's what I think that's what we're got going on right here. But it is such an intriguing idea that games are doing this whole 2.0 thing, where they're kind of branching off and doing parallel updates and expansions that are adding to the game. And it's good for new players. It's good for different kinds of players. So I don't know if this campaign is going to be radically different. If it's going to be oh yeah. So a little bit of details on that actually. Probably want some details on that campaign. So some people might be confused. Is it just a different map? Is it just different monsters, things like that? It actually will be totally different classes. So we're playing as totally new classes, as well as it's expanding. Like those classes have different ascendancies with them. And then the cool thing is it's almost actually it's kind of revamping the old, you know, campaign as well, because once you actually play through the campaign with those classes and ascendancies, apparently we can use them in the old map as well, in the old campaign, and then vice versa as well. Once you beat the game with you know, the ascendancies of you know, the original campaign, you can do them over in the first campaign, and then both campaigns actually converge for the end game. So don't think it's like two separate parallel, you know, leagues or whatever. They're going to converge in the end game. So that's like neat. And what other further details that we have, I'm not sure. I'm assuming the different campaigns obviously are going to have different stories. It's going to be a different world. To an extent, it's still, you know, it's still Path of Exile. But, you know, what is the gameplay going to be like? Is it going to be a little bit slower paced? Is it going to be more like big monsters versus hordes of monsters? I don't know how they're going to balance it. It's probably going to be very, 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 very similar. Again, more greatness, more of the same Path of Exile. But so far, that's what it looks like. I'm so impressed with the graphics of this game. I know it's isometric. I know it's very dark and foggy, very, and it can be very cluttered at times, even in this, you know, professionally made trailer. I get that, but this still just looks like a AAA free-to-play game to me, and I'm just kind of gushing. Sadly, here is my limit as a Path of Exile non-veteran. As somebody who played Path of Exile very casually, I kind of just one and done it. You know, I just played through it, the vanilla campaign. I've teased it a little bit here and there, but I can't discuss any further implications that this game has for the competitive scene, which this game actually is competitive. Unlike really BDO, unlike Warframe, this is truly like a pretty competitive and a very serious community when it comes to the sincerity. I mean, it's not like an esport, okay? It's not quite like that. But in terms of like the sincerity of the fairness of the game, the non-pay to winness, the monetization super fair. You know, in terms of just the fairness of the sport, I'm not saying esport, but I'm just saying the sport of a grinding action RPG. This game is the top, in my opinion, right there with Diablo, you know. So really, really good. And amazingly, it's free to play. And it looks like this. You know, I think to a lot of people, you might talk to them and they'll say, you know, do you like Diablo 3 or Path of Exile? And I think a lot of people who love these kind of games, and I'm just now getting into these kind of grinders, but I would say, and I think most people maybe, I'm just kind of throwing this out there, I'm shooting the shit, but I think people would say Path of Exile is the one, because that is the one that is really succeeding Diablo 2. Though with Diablo 4 on the horizon, though it's very far away, we'll see then, but for right now, my bet for 2020, it's going to be the year of Path of Exile. Is it going to be worth playing? It's worth playing now, and it's going to be worth playing next month, and the month after that, especially December 13th when they announce the new endgame expansion. It's always worth it. Every single expansion, every single thing they've ever done to this game has always been a worthwhile endeavor, and it's never really stuttered, and it will never shudder. This game will live forever at this rate. And I'm really proud to say that. You know, I was one of the first people to play the game. I really enjoyed it, and I love promoting it. I put in a lot of top 10s, even though I don't have thousands of hours in it. The little amount of time that I have compared to some of you guys was very impactful to me. It was profound of an experience, because I generally don't play these kind of games, and it got me into the entire macro grinder genre. So it's really cool that they're getting new content for people to grind. You know, more of that greatness. Thanks, Grinding Gear Games. yeah, looking forward to you guys next year. Anyways, there's probably going to be more announcements and things. I'm going to drop the ball here a little bit also with some details. I'm sorry about that. I was just, too excited to sort of announce this and rant about it and ramble about it. But yeah, just to recap, Path of Exile Mobile looks like one of the best mobile games out there. And if you're worried about it, don't be. There's lots and lots of action RPGs on mobile, from Xenonia series with the iPhone all the way up to the, I don't know, there's some really shit ones actually. We're not even going to go into it, but there's a lot of them, and normally they're bad. But if you actually watch the trailer for the mobile, they really promise that it's not going to be pay to win. They promise that they're going to make a sincere, basically AAA mobile game on, on phones. Awesome. That's really cool. So, awesome there. And then, of course, we have the 2.0 as well as the endgame expansion. 2.0 was not expected. Endgame expansion was, but the combination of that, the sort of two-front push there is pretty awesome. It's like they're like listening to their player base. They want to expand that player base, and they want to keep the ones who love the game in the game as well. And I'm just happy. This is a game as a service, and there's so many that have failed, like Anthem, etc. And even there's a lot of drama with Warframe and stuff, and BDO especially. It's really cool to see a game that has just been so true to itself, to its player base, and is just continuing to move forward. It's just so exciting. So yeah, am I excited for this game? Yeah, I'm excited. 2020, Path of Exile, it's going to be worth playing. All right, that's all. That's it, guys. My name's Skylent, and once again, thanks guys for subscribing and following over on twitch.tv/Skylent. Thanks for the donation as well as the Patreons. The Patreon helps me survive, give gifts and buy games for my son, things like that. Just and also buying, indie games and allowing myself time to play these kind of games. So thank you guys so much for the love and support as well. Sharing the videos and, just all the YouTube stuff. Call to actions work, but they're so annoying. I got to figure out how to make this better. Anyways, I'm going to peace out. Sorry about that. Much love. Keep the hype alive. And I'll see you again next time.